But I thought it was the best part about it.
Streaming.
Like the fact that he was the man.
Yeah, real life.
I'm just saying.
Goats, right? Some with goats.
No, it was the contraption that George Clooney makes in the basement.
Oh, with the
that
chair.
Thing, yeah.
Yeah, the swing or whatever.
No, it was a swing. It was a full-on GTF. Yeah.
Anyway,
what was the movie?
This is Cartridge
I have
Blast
to look it up.
live. I'm John for Cartridge Blast Gamers.
I'm Jonah.
And I'm Carmine.
This is another podcast. This is episode 47. How you guys doing?
I'm fantastic.
You are fantastic. Always fantastic.
I'm beautiful.
Carmine, how are you?
Check back later.
Okay. Anyway, this is Cartridge Blast Podcast Live. How you guys doing? Thanks for watching and or listening, because we do put these up on SoundCloud
and other podcast services around the world.
Around the world.
He was waiting to plug all that in.
No, I'm good.
I liked how he didn't say
Continue.
iTunes. But anyway.
It's on iTunes also.
Well, technically it's not even iTunes anymore, isn't it? It's in like Apple Music.
Apple Music.
All I know is
it's on there, but I'm just saying.
You can play it on iTunes.
Sure.
It's on there, but he's just saying. So, anyway, guys, welcome. And if you have any comments...
And goodbye.
And goodbye. Say them for later, because we're going to get through this, and then if you have any questions, we'll answer them at the end. So usually run these about an hour, hour and a half. Depends on...
It's been teetering more towards the hour and a half lately.
Well, we do it live now. Before we're kind of, little cuts and stuff. But now, anything goes. So, anyway, guys, let's get into our first set of business here.
Business.
What you playing? I'll go first, because I haven't really... I've been bad. I really haven't been playing much this year. This week.
This year?
This year.
Are you okay?
Nah.
You had a stroke.
The last game I played was 3 years ago.
I'm like very tired, but my energy drink is pushing me through the craziness. But anyway, so the only thing I played was the Halo 4, actually. The Halo Master Chief Collection. Xbox One. It's good stuff. I did want to play Bloodborne. I didn't get a chance to do it because I knew it was going to be one of those games where I can't just play like, a half hour. I just kind of have to play.
You'll try and do a half hour, but then you'll be like, I'm going to try it one more time.
Yeah.
And then you'll die again, and you're going to be like, I almost died, let me try it one more time.
Because that is...
Like, oh my god, this guy came out of nowhere. Oh, let me try it one more time. Now I know that the guy's there. Then I'll get him. And then soon it just snowballs into it's 5 a.m.
Right. So
This is personal experience talking.
And I wasn't around this weekend, so...
That's why I can't play those games anymore.
He's still on me.
I'm waiting.
Just after you, sir.
So I did want to play the game, but I didn't just want to half-ass it. I wanted to kind of dive in, at least give myself 2 hours to get the intro in there, and then, then slowly go into it. But so I played that, and Master Chief Collection, I didn't get to play that. And since I beat Mario Odyssey, or I got as far as I think I'm okay with the Mario Odyssey, I didn't feel like collecting everything. Yeah, so that's about it for me. How about you, Jonah?
I actually started playing some of my older games. Not old games, but like games I got last year.
Dust off the old Oregon Trail.
No, I put Persona 5 back in, and because I wanted...
Did you ever beat that?
I beat it once, and I was halfway through the second playthrough when I quit. And
cold turkey?
Quit cold turkey. And I wanted to go back in there because I wanted to finish the compendium, which is like the list of personas you can gather and level up. But it's too much work. I'm not going to do that. Also, I started playing Ultra Sun again because...
The Pokemon
game? Because I heard the Pokemon rumor for the Switch. It's going to be a brand new, the next generation Pokemon for the Switch. Yeah, that was exciting. But the Pokemon Ultra Sun's opening hours are too similar to the Sun's hours, which I've already played, so I got bored of that and I'm not going to play that again.
So did you really play it if it was that similar to...
I played it. I played a couple hours.
Or did you just play the same thing over again? It's like a whole different dimensional thing. If you played the same thing...
I don't need this right now. I played it.
Play it again if you already played it.
I played it. I never played the Pokemon Sun and Moon, so how did that work?
You get Pokemon and then they give you cutscenes.
Wow.
A lot of cutscenes.
Wow, wow.
That's one thing I didn't like about this generation is the opening. Cutscenes. Yeah, the opening cutscenes are too long.
I mean, cutscenes or are boxes upon boxes upon boxes of dialogue. It's like pick your poison here.
I mean, the boxes upon boxes isn't even that long, but these cutscenes can last like a while, and and they tell you to go to a different
boxes
place.
upon boxes of text could last a while.
I mean, if you
remember the original,
you're a slow clicker.
Do you remember the original Doctor? Was it Oak?
Yes, Professor Oak.
Hit the first time he comes on the screen and he's just bantering about nonsense.
Yeah, but you can skip
for the
through all
beginning
that.
of the game. I'm just saying.
You can't skip through the cutscenes
At all?
Not at all.
Okay. Well,
You have to watch that.
We're gonna set it and forget it.
Yeah. So the Pokemon's a good game though. Played some Bayonetta still. I'm close to the end, and I will give you Bayonetta 2 soon.
thanks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like waist deep in Far Cry and God of War, but I'll get to it.
Yeah. You'll get it someday. That's about it. I played a little bit more Assassin's Creed, but I haven't gotten that far.
Which one? Oh, the new one.
Origins. Yeah.
How's that going for you? Besides not getting anywhere.
I just can't bring myself to continue on. I just run around and do some stuff and then move on.
Same way.
What was it with that? Was it the story not there, or was it just too big? Like open world? What was the issue here?
It's for me it was there's stuff already to do around me, and that's interesting enough.
Yeah.
And the story itself isn't that compelling to me.
I mean, I hear the characters are good, but I don't know much about.
Yeah, maybe I haven't gone far enough to get to the really good parts.
I feel like they haven't really adapted a lot of the story. Like, I know that there's some good characters and stuff like that, but there's really no. I mean, you have the good guys, you have the bad guys.
Yeah.
You have the Templars, and then you have the Assassins. Like, they haven't really poked and prodded into that.
Dynamic.
That dynamic or that formula yet. And
Was it because there were so many other things coming out at the same time? It was like, well, I kind of did this already. It looks nice. It plays well.
But
It's
the
like
same as it's an Assassin's Creed game, which is
it's a good Assassin's Creed game, but
which is saying a lot because like Far Cry is Far Cry. You know what I mean? But
yes,
with the same looking bad guys.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so that's what I got for this week. How about you?
I've been playing Far Cry 5. I'm probably rounding the bend. I'm like, because like there's a ton of it's one of the first games in a while that like there's a ton of stuff to do and I could always go back to it. But I've been really primarily focusing on like getting the outpost taken care of and then doing the story missions because I'm at the point now where like a lot of my other friends are actually playing it, so it's coming to a point where I'm starting to hear spoilers and I don't want to. So I'm gonna
slap
probably
them around.
I'm off this week actually. So I'm going to try and finish out Far Cry in time for God of War. Because once God of War comes out, I am sitting down and I am playing the living God out of God of War.
I like that.
That
I'm
comes
really
excited for it.
Do you think you'll be able to get it done by the release?
Maybe. It depends on how well it grabs me. But I'm excited from what I'm hearing.
Nice.
Everybody's gushing about it. I really want to play it. But I've been playing a lot of Overwatch again. Jumping back into that. Just one of those games I can kind of pick up and start playing again. I do want to jump into Destiny Iron Banner 66 at some point just to see if there's any changes that actually made it worthwhile. I've played 3 games now of PUBG on mobile, which is interesting that it actually works for what it is. It's not great, but it works. So, that's pretty much it though. I don't think I've been really playing too much else. There's stuff I want to go back to, but that's about it.
Yeah, and PUBG on mobile's free.
Yeah.
Nice. How's it work? I mean, your phone's a newer phone. It's Pixel 2.
I guess. I mean, they have it like recommended settings, like what you could play on, and it's because of the phone that I have, it says it works on the highest. So.
Oh, that's good. So you get the best experience for the mobile game.
It's just the accuracy of trying to shoot and everything. Like my brain doesn't quite work there
yet. Yeah, I know. It's, for me, it would be.
It's
strange.
more of a aim it like in the center of the screen and then strafe back and forth and try to hit fire on the way back across.
Yeah,
and try to actually hit the enemy.
I used to have like a game on my old phone, and it was like a Mega Man emulator. And I could not play it.
It's because you can't. You have to. You can only, your screen only pays attention to 2 spots, pretty much. Yeah. I guess. So like same thing. I downloaded an emulator for like I think it was Mega Man or Donkey Kong Mario or something like that. You can't hold down the run button and then jump. It doesn't. The screen doesn't work that way.
And that's why. I mean, I get if people play the heck out of those games and PUBG on the mobile and stuff like that, but I just can't do mobile games because it's not set up the way I would want to do it. And plus, you play the game, it probably kills your battery.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I use, if if I need to use it for work or something, it's
It takes internet connection. It's
Yeah.
one of those things I've just kind of sat there and played like when my son's watching Handy Manny.
yeah.
So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'm really just looking forward to God of War at this point.
Nice. All right, so
Did we talk about Spider-Man last time? Did Spider-Man come out last time? Did we not get a chance to talk about Spider-Man?
well, hold on.
I feel like we mentioned Spider-Man at some point.
Oh, you want to know what it was?
Let's talk
It was
news.
the night before. That's what it was. It was the night before, or the day before that they announced the actual release date.
Oh, we talked
Yeah,
about
we were making
talked about
predictions about it.
a future announcement.
Yeah.
All right, hold on a sec. So we're gonna be talking about yeah, that's what it was. It was what happened was like you just said.
Yeah.
The last podcast
I
we
think I
had.
guessed August or something like that, and it's releasing in September.
September. There's
yeah.
a ton of stuff in September because nobody wants to get near.
Red Dead.
Yeah, Red Dead.
And they just actually announced a tie-in novel, so that's cool.
Spider-Man.
And they have the collector's
I'm
edition
excited.
where they're hiding what the figure looks
Pistachios.
like.
I already pre-ordered the collector's edition just in case. Just in
Yeah.
case. It's something amazing.
It's definitely going to be expensive.
Like it was Spider-Man like battling in an awesome pose against like Venom or something crazy. Like I want that.
yeah, I think they
And then
announced.
I'll worry about my wife being upset about the clutter later on. But I want to make sure I have it locked down.
I think
There
they
you go.
announced to like creator of the statue, so you can like look at what they've done before to see the quality it'll be.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. But they have like there's like 3 DLC packs that are coming out for it and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So there's gonna be some post content to it. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited for Spider-Man. We haven't had a good
Spider-Man is
Spider-Man game since
PS2.
like the original. What was the original Spider-Man game with Doc Carnage?
Well, they had
Carnage
that was
Doc.
Spider-Man for PS1.
Carnage
I had that game.
Octopus,
Yeah,
whatever it was.
Doc Ock with Carnage.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It was a great battle, like running away from.
That game was well done. For,
It was very
for
well
what
done.
it was,
Yeah.
it was very well done for its time.
Yeah.
And
And
there's
with-
been some other games like Shattered Dimensions and stuff like that I heard were okay, but
But then
I'm
they had
excited
the
for this
movie
game.
tie-in of Spider-Man 2.
I heard it was great. Yeah, I never played it. I heard that was
Yeah.
the last
I think
good
your
one.
brothers played that for some reason. I have a feeling that
Probably.
they picked that up. But yeah, they said that was it just worked. Like
Yeah.
the web slinging throughout the city, it
My-
just worked really
My
well.
brother was an achievement whore at one point, so I'm assuming he probably did pay it
Probably.
during that time.
Yeah, that was PS2. They didn't have achievements then. They had boasting.
Spider-Man 2? It was on 360, wasn't it?
Not for Spider-Man 2 the movie. Or I could be wrong. No,
No, maybe you're right.
360 didn't come out till after Spider-Man
Okay, so you're
2.
probably right.
Spider-Man 3 maybe.
So if that's the
I don't
case,
know.
it's been very long since we've had a good Spider-Man.
Yes. Depends on your taste in Spider-Man, though. Now, did you guys check any video on this? Because I kind of just watched some sort
It was
of
just
thing.
like an announcement thing. It wasn't
Yeah.
anything like big.
I'm just worried that it's...
Quick time events.
yeah, I mean, Sony's doing really awesome things. I doubt the game's not going to be good. But, you know, this game has been getting a lot of hype.
Yeah.
So for it to not do well won't really be surprising at the same time, but very disappointing. But
I don't think. I think what they've already shown, like the gameplay they've shown, looks great. They've got the Batman Arkham combo style,
right, there
and
were
that's never gonna be a bad
No,
time.
that's what I actually prefer in my open world
Yeah.
games like that. That's why, like I said, I decided I wanted to play more Shadow of War than Assassin's Creed because I knew what Shadow of War's fighting style was. It was
Right,
a little
right.
more fun.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think while it could be overhyped, that based on how much hype it's getting, it's not gonna be a bad game.
I don't think there's any I don't think that there's any world where this game gets like a 7 or lower than a 7. I don't foresee it happening. I'd be really surprising if it comes out and it's a bomb.
DC only fans.
Yeah. All the user ratings. No, boo, no.
yeah,
It was supposed to be like Batman, no.
exactly. Batman did it first.
Batman did it first.
But that's what they're comparing it to, is the Batman Arkham Asylum. So
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I was reading the Game of 4 article. I actually read that one instead of the other one. By the way, the Metroid one that I was telling you about, the cover, that was the top 300 list. That had nothing to do with the new Metroid game.
Oh, so
Okay.
it was
Yeah.
clickbait for a magazine.
Well, it came to me and it was on my desk. I don't know how clickbaity it was, but it was there.
Well,
It was interest bait.
interest bait.
Interest based.
Because you weren't going to read it until you realized Samus
But then
was
I
on
read the Spider-Man one, because my son's super into Spider-Man, so he saw that on the cover. He's like, "Daddy, can I look at this?" And he had it open, so I actually started reading the magazine. There's going to be a lot of Peter Parker in this too, like so you'll probably play as Peter Parker, different cutscenes and stuff like that. It's going to be interesting. I think they're going to go deviate a little bit from what's been typically done with Spider-Man. Like they talk about, like in the actual Game Informer article, and you can go check it out now. That like Peter's actually working as a scientist for a company that they won't disclose yet, and that Mary Jane is actually, instead of wanting to be an actress, she's actually like an investigative journalist.
Yeah.
So they're toying a little bit with it, but we'll see what happens. I think overall, I'm excited for it. Very excited for it. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
What about this tie-in novel and art book?
I'm surprised it's not part of the collector's edition. Like that's the kind of thing you would include in a collector's edition.
They usually have like
well, at least the art book.
I'm digging the white spider symbol, by the way, too. I think it's good that they're differentiating.
Yeah.
Red, white, and blue
from the game character to like a lot of the regular comic book characters that have like the black symbol. So I think that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, it's a good change. I mean, what does the Iron Spider suit in Avengers look like? That doesn't have a white symbol.
No, but that's one of the when you pre-order it. I think it's pre-order the season pass. You actually get that costume, and it's not. They're saying it's no microtransactions. So, which leads me to believe that if there's no microtransactions, you could probably buy the season pass and get some of the costumes. But I have a feeling I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that they actually have spider costumes that you unlock in the game.
Yeah.
With no charge. That to me would be such awesome fanfare.
I think
if they just allow for that to happen.
I think the key thing too with that whole thing is that the suits actually do something more versus just like, oh, here's another skin. It does the same thing, but it's a new skin. And we were talking about the PlayStation one, the Spider-Man, the actual based off the animated series. I believe every costume you unlock did something for you. Like it gave you like
the symbiote one, the Venom spider suit. Like I remember that one. You didn't have to worry about web cartridges.
Yeah, it was just unlimited.
Yeah.
Then there was another one that was like gives you like invincibility or something like that.
It's probably the iron. There was a black and silver.
Yep, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I remember. Yep.
Yeah,
that's a game. If it's good, it'll last a long time.
Do you have it?
I do have it.
You do have it. Wouldn't it be a bad idea to go back and play that? Wouldn't it?
We should play it.
We should
on stream the week before Spider-Man releases.
Yeah, why not?
Give us something to compare to. Series. Graphics wise, it's got in the bag. Don't worry about that. Can't. I just remember Venom.
You gotta choose your battles.
It was a good time.
Yeah, it was a good voice cast.
Well, they did. They got everyone from the animated series. So if you're a fan of that, you're definitely a fan of that.
And I remember when was it Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, the first one, you unlocked regular Spider-Man.
Yeah, because it was from Activision.
And it was awesome because like after you beat the game with every skater, you get like a little video of almost like a montage of people doing like different tricks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you actually had people like Tony Hawk and other people dress up like Spider-Man and do skateboard like as Spider-Man.
And I think you got the theme song.
Yeah, it had the theme song playing with it too. So it was, man, those are the good old days of Activision.
Yeah, man. And games in general. Now everything's kind of like.
Well, that was Neversoft too, right? I think Neversoft was part of that too.
Neversoft.
I don't remember what the structure was.
Yeah, I forget.
I think Neversoft was the developer maybe, and Activision was the one that actually produced it.
I think so. I was looking at the. Hold on a sec. You know, now that I just have to bring it down because it's right
now. Your face is a box.
I believe it. Yeah, Neversoft. So.
Let me see this bad.
Oh yeah. That's what we're talking about right there.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Thank you. I am great. How are you, Jonah?
This is a terrible stream. Everyone should leave.
Jonah, what was have you ever played a Spider-Man game before?
I played a Spider-Man 2. I played at my cousin's house. I didn't have PlayStation.
So this came out in 2000, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that long ago in retrospect, like game-wise, but that's 18 years ago.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So I'm not that like nostalgic about the Spider-Man games because I only played a couple times at my cousin's house, but I enjoyed them when I did.
Now you played the PS2 one based off the Spider-Man 2 movie, or
I think so. The
sequel to this one, which apparently wasn't as good as this.
No,
I think it's the movie one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that?
I enjoyed it
because that's one that they would compare it as the most recent good one.
Yeah.
So, all right. Let's move on from Spider-Man. What do you guys want to talk about? You want to talk about?
Let's talk Sega.
Want to talk Sega? All right, so
they had this huge stream.
Yeah,
and they hyped it, overhyped it actually.
Wasn't there talks about them getting back in the console market, like leading up to the stream?
Yeah, and this is what happened.
This is so basically they kind of came out with no information following this, but they announced a Sega Mega Drive Mini, which it was called in Japan. So basically a Sega Genesis Mini over here. And it was funny because everyone on Twitter were like, "Oh, thank God! You know, it's finally going to be something that At Games isn't going to do anything like that." And everyone's thinking, "Okay, Sega wants to jump on the Nintendo one, so it's going to be full of Sega games, no fillers, no nothing, none of that. If you have the Flashback HD, it's got like pool and like some other nonsense
some crazy
games.
You should watch
air hockey. Yeah, watch our stream. Go look for it in the videos." But anyway, so people were like bashing At Games about it, blah 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 blah. They're like, yeah, they're not gonna touch it. It's so great. But I guess apparently this here, At Games did tweet out something about it, saying that they're, I guess, involved in a way, but it was deleted right away. So I guess they saw the backlash towards them. They're like, "Oh nope, we're just gonna pull a Homer Simpson into the brush, into the bushes."
So with this, it's like 16 games, right? It's a smaller catalog of what they've been releasing.
I don't know. There was no information.
I thought it was like a smaller amount.
I think you got the number from its
16-bit.
16-bit, yeah. It's like on the right there.
Yeah, 16-bit. Doesn't stand for 16 best in the category.
Best in territory.
Best in territory.
We do know it's going to have some games like Phantasy Star and Alex Kidd. I know those were some of the names that were announced. So it's going to be a lot of their flagship games.
Is it weird that I'd be more interested in like a Dreamcast miniature or something like that than like this? Because I feel like, and it might just be like from where I was when I was a kid, but I felt like I got so much Sega when I was younger that I never got to experience like a lot of like the Sega CD or the Sega Dreamcast games. Yeah. I kind of wish I could just get like a Dreamcast.
Well, I mean, it could eventually be coming. Depends on what's happening with this.
It was like a small window when that console was actually out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Dreamcast was way too expensive for...
Yeah, it was ahead of its time.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's a good system. I never got to play it, ever. Like, I never touched a Dreamcast. My friend had it, but I never got to go over and play it. The games I wanted on it, like Resident Evil Code Veronica, was ported to PS2, so I got to play that anyway. Yeah. The Sonic game, that was really good. I never really... Like, I wanted to play it, but at the same time, like, I didn't need it. Like, with everything else coming out.
There was Knights, there was Crazy Taxi.
Taxi.
I always want to play Crazy Taxi.
Yeah, so it's like stuff like that. Like, I never really spent a lot of time on Dreamcast. I kind of wish they would just bring out the Dreamcast.
So you try everything.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too. And I think it's probably a bigger deal is that a lot of those franchises that are there, that's probably a larger licensing problem than it is to go do the old Sega games at this point. But it's just one of those things that, like, I never got to experience the Dreamcast, so part of me would probably be a little bit more interested in actually going out and paying money to try some of that catalog.
See, with this, it's the same. The problem is since At Games has been just constantly releasing them, the PlayStation had the anniversary collection, another anniversary collection's coming out. So we've had these games. It's not something we couldn't get our hands on. This would be interesting if they actually, now since At Games, I guess maybe nothing's confirmed, but based off the tweet, perhaps they are involved somehow. So I don't know how far they're gonna go. Like, for instance, if they had on it like a Castlevania game, that would be amazing. Or they had
there's a Castlevania
Ninja Turtles
coming to mobile, by the way. I saw that news story. Sorry.
Was it like a port? Or?
I don't know.
We talked about mobile games. Not interested.
We'll look it up after this because I'm kind of interested.
Like, if they were able to get the Ninja Turtle game, Hyperstone Heist, which is basically Turtles in Time but different, sort of, that'd be neat.
I want the original Turtles in Time, like the not mess with Turtles in Time. That's hard to come by.
Well, you gotta get a Super Nintendo and buy it, like I did.
But they had like They had like a remake on PS3 and stuff like that, didn't they? Or Xbox, but it was.
Well, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was
stupid.
Yeah,
it was like it was.
What they removed from it?
They didn't remove.
It's just the graphics. Like they tried to redo it, and it's just.
It was dumb. It was like
they
stupid.
Didn't connect.
It took the
magic was gone.
Exactly, the magic out of it.
It's like the Chrono Trigger release on PC when they had to dial that back for the original graphics.
Yeah, but it's like Secret of Mana. What they did with the graphics, trying to make them 3D, but like worse. And it's just the gameplay was not there. I think we tried it, but I mean, for this, like going back to the Sega Mini, if that's what it's going to be. I mean, looking at it, what At Games did with the Flashback HD this time around is they allow you to put your Sega cartridges in. I mean, they did that again before, but this one's actually in HD, so it's kind of up-converting things. This, you're not going to be able to do that on. So
that's a play out of Nintendo's book.
Yeah,
they don't want them to do it.
But they're going to have one heck of a library in this thing, crammed in this thing, for people to be interested in it. Like, we're not just talking about Sonics here. We're not talking about Phantasy Star.
Might drop.
But then
they can work out that licensing problem.
You can buy it on the collector's edition that I had, like for PS3.
Yeah.
They do a nice job at HD. The sound quality is great. That was what a lot of people have issues with the At Games. I don't notice it when I play the HD one, because I guess they got better, or it's just the fact that I'm not like sitting by my TV analyzing it back to back to the original. But people said that the sound porting is not that great.
Okay.
But I mean, it's Sega has that distinct sound to it, but it's nothing fantastic.
Soups and nuts. Are you going to buy this?
Soups and nuts.
Soups and nuts.
Soups
You're going to buy
nuts.
this.
It depends on the catalog.
Okay, I'm going to say
You'll
no.
probably buy it.
I'm not. You might. I'm not.
If it's got the golden Axe,
I'd rather buy
I'll
rather buy the collection on the Switch than.
Yeah. But I mean, if it's got like Earthworm Jim on it, that's fantastic. Do that.
Oh, that's true. Because the other one, you didn't have Earthworm Jim in the other one, right?
Mm-mm.
And Toe Jam and Earl.
Listen,
also not on there.
If they find a way to add things that,
want,
like from Konami, there's so many.
Not
games
that I don't
from
love
Konami.
Vector Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What about the 7-Up game? Do you remember the 7-Up game?
You're probably not going to get that one.
There was a 7-Up Spot game.
Yeah, I know.
So you know what I'm talking about, right?
All right.
I just want to make sure everybody knows I'm not crazy.
So
I'm just go out there.
Cool,
and take
it was
a
a cool spot, right?
It was it was a cool spot. But he like shot Sprite balls at you.
Yeah.
And you're like going through a beach.
Yeah, that was.
I swear to God, that's a real thing.
I doubt you'll get that.
I swear to God, it's a real thing.
I believe you. The like I said, it's going to come down to the library, the way it's handled. Yeah, I mean, because it's just something we already have, and it's just, if it's another At Games release, who knows what we're going to get. I mean, like I said, from what I played of the At Games HD release this year, I enjoyed it. It was fine. It's got the golden axes, it's got crammed with like nonsense in there. But I mean, it did have throwing Game Gear games on it. This one's not going to have Game Gear games on it if they're going to stick to like the mini. But like if they pull in like Contra Hardcore, or they put in Castlevania Bloodlines, I believe that one's for the Sega.
So these are all games that are missing from the other one.
Oh yeah, these are games like Konami.
So
like
I'm going to say this.
I
renege on my last comment. If they bring stuff in there like Castlevania, like they have Aladdin, they have Earthworm Jim, they have Toe Jam and Earl, they have Sonic 3, then I might be a little bit more interested in buying something like this.
If they have something where like you go out in a game, say I wanted Contra, or say I wanted Castlevania, but it'll cost me like maybe $100 to buy, like in a physical form. And if they have something like that, that's fantastic. Like the Super SNES Classic, that thing has all the games that people want to, not all the games, but like most of the games out there that people would want to like just grab like first hand for a collection start. And for what it cost, if you're able to get one, that was like $70, $80.
Yeah, I mean, there's still some out there.
$80, but I mean, if you were to handpick those games separately now, you're most likely over $300 easy for some of those games. Depends on the quality.
Is there a Mega Man game on Nintendo, Super Nintendo, NES?
There's Mega Man X.
Mega Man X.
That's right. I haven't opened it.
Also Mega Man 7.
I've been wanting to open it. I just haven't opened it yet.
You monster.
I know. It's in the box right now.
All these people are like, I would have played it.
Waiting to be moved. No, I mean, GameStop's been having them on sale for a while.
They keep coming back in stock, so Nintendo's really delivered on their promise.
The NES one is the one that has still been yet to be seen for a while.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing too. They were saying that maybe this summer they were gonna re-release it. You know what I mean? That's from talking. I think in the actually no, I think they mentioned that in the fall when they started with the Super NES Classic. They were announcing that they were gonna re-release the NES Classic. So that'd be awesome if that happens.
I'd pick the NES Classic up.
Well, I would.
Just to have.
I have one that sits on my shelf.
I just wish they would put them on a
Unopened.
cartridge and put them on Switch, but that's neither here nor there.
You would hope that they what?
They just put it on a cartridge for
So
Switch.
you can put it on Switch.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be interesting to do it that way. Maybe that's what they'll end up doing. Maybe that's kind of like their version of re-releasing it.
We'll see.
Be interesting.
Anyway.
Let's go move on to... Well, we were talking about Dreamcast, so we'll mention this game.
And you can talk about it, because I have no idea what Shenmue even is.
So, I never played it.
Why it's important.
But it's one of these games that was really... Well, it's one of those... Is
it well described as a cult classic? Because it got a really, really hardcore following, but it was never like a huge game. Like
well, you know what it was?
Like,
I don't even know why it's special. I don't even know why a new Shenmue game is even important. What is this game?
Now, different genres, but from what I understand, it's like the Halo to the Xbox. So it was one of those things where you bought the system to play the game.
So you shoot aliens in this game?
No, you're not. You didn't hear my last sentence. You would buy it to play the game.
Okay.
Is what it is.
It was a system seller.
Yeah, system seller.
What is it? What kind of game is it?
It's, I guess, a story-driven beat-em-up sort of game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I never played the whole thing, but it's interesting because this is a game that I was actually thinking about buying an Xbox for just to play, just to try and play.
I have a feeling Jonah's going to go and buy this, and then I'm going to play when Jonah gets it. Because this is something that Jonah would buy.
I am interested in it. And also, a couple of years ago...
Just remember to port your save so we can actually play it here.
Yeah. I remember a couple of years ago, Shenmue 3 was announced for Kickstarter.
Yes.
I think.
And that was years ago, actually, at this point. They've been quiet.
It's still...
Yeah.
They're still in development. They were trying to get more money to up the quality to add, like, the Dream game.
And it's funny because they got a lot of money from that Kickstarter, right?
And then they had to give some of it back because evidently they were always planning to actually fund the making of that game.
I guess that was like a way to test to test how people are into it, and then they get investors. But it's Shenmue 3. People are still hyped about it. I'm interested, at least. I've never played it. I've never even watched a long playthrough. I just watched some gameplay clips. But from what I've seen, it's my kind of game.
Yeah, it's one of those games that just because of what it is got expensive. So it's for it to be released 1 and 2. It's not remastered, but it's obviously you can play it in HD. It'll be nice to do that without having to pay a lot of money to try to play it.
It's one thing that I don't like is that it's not announced for Switch, at least not yet, because I just want to play everything on the Switch.
Well, it's funny because the Switch is, a lot of Sega games are coming to Switch soon, right?
Yeah,
that's what it was. I gotta see what this link.
Yeah,
is.
the Sega Ages.
Sega Ages, yeah. So. With Alex Kidd.
Oh my god.
We tried playing, I think, every version of Alex Kidd.
That was somebody's poor brain
it didn't
child.
grab us.
It was one of Sega's mascot characters. I think before Sonic was a thing. So he was big. Kind of.
Real big.
I mean, Sonic was what made Sega a competitor to Nintendo, I think. Like a massive competitor. So it was big enough.
I mean, they made enough to where, obviously, it had been doing something well. But yeah, and there's games out there that I haven't played. I guess we can look at this list, see if this pops up. But yeah, it comes again. I mean, would you rather play the Sega games on a Switch, like when Sonic Mania?
But this isn't a bundle either. I think it's just like in individual games you have to buy separately.
Sonic the Hedgehog, Phantasy Star, Thunder Force 4. That's all I really see right here. But anyway. That's interesting that they're going to do that, but I mean they had Sonic Mania, which is kind of more what I would want to play on. I guess I would want to play that on Switch for some reason. It just seems
that's what I bought it and played it on.
Like it just seems like a fun game that you want to pick up and go mobile with.
It's one of those things that I would have never played if I didn't have it on the Switch, like on my couch to play.
So you can just
I wouldn't have booted that up on my PlayStation. There wouldn't have been a time where I would have booted it up on my PlayStation and played it.
Yeah,
just wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, that's a game that I gotta get. When did that physical release yet?
I don't think so.
It's coming soon, though.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that. So, all right. Well, let's move on because
Sega's taking up a lot of time.
yeah, we'll talk BioShock. Carmine, I'm gonna let you grab the wheel on this one.
So Kotaku, Jason Schreier's Kotaku, did a report, a news article, kind of describing what actually happened with the Mafia 3 development and the development team.
Yeah.
And there's this big long thing, and there's a lot of information about it. But what everybody actually pulled out of that article was a couple lines about the fact that some of the studio developers actually went and are now working on a top secret BioShock game. And that's what everybody really pulled out of it and ran with.
Yeah.
Like, that's what the headlines were with every other point of media, but here Jason Schreier is trying to do, like, an awesome article, a piece about, developer hardship or struggles or whatever the case may be, and it's just like, oh, well, Jason said this, so it must be true, so let's make a giant article about how there's a new BioShock game coming out. So, evidently there's a new BioShock game that's being worked on, not really a big surprise, because next to Borderlands, NBA 2K, probably WWE 2K, that might even be a stretch. But BioShock's a big name franchise, and there needs to be another BioShock.
Now,
Done.
the last game in the franchise, that was
Infinite.
Which I loved.
I love too. I platinum Infinite.
Now, was Infinite like retelling, or was it kind of like a...
Have you played the BioShock games, John?
I played a little bit of the first one. I don't know. You can yell.
I played the first one all the way through.
It's like one of the top 10. Like the first BioShock game was like one of the top 10.
And I played the second one a fair amount, but I didn't beat the second one because I think the second one was too similar to the first one.
It wasn't even that. The second one's a good game. It's more BioShock, but the reason why I might eventually buy the BioShock collection is that Minerva's Den is supposedly, everybody's always talked about it on every single podcast I listen to, any video. Minerva's Den is evidently the best piece of DLC, hands down. Like, bar none compared to anything else. And that's even talking about games like Red Dead that had the Red Dead Undead Nightmare. So evidently that piece of DLC is amazing. I want to find out why it's amazing. So far it hasn't been spoiled for me. So it's one of those things I want to go back and play it.
I want to go Google it when I get home.
And spoil it.
But it's good. Like I said, it's not bad. It's just, it's more a BioShock one.
Yeah.
And then Infinite was completely different.
Yeah,
but they had their hardships too, from a development standpoint. That was like almost like a 10-year project.
But you liked Infinite.
I did, yeah. There were some design choices I wasn't a huge fan of, in the sense of like you could only carry like 2 weapons at a time. Where in BioShock 1 you had your entire wheel of weapons to play with.
Okay.
Another thing I liked about it though was that Elizabeth was a useful AI.
I was going to say, are we talking about spoilers?
No.
Okay.
Was a useful AI. Like usually there's a person that follows you around, she does nothing or gets killed and you lose your objective.
Yeah, she was.
She gives you health when you need it. She gives you
ammo.
She gives you like
so
mana.
it's not like
ammo.
It's not like Cortana in the later Halo series, where she's just talking and then she's just so annoying.
Pep talk.
Like remember the second one or the third one where it's just like you're in the flood area and it just like stops and she's like flashing in your face.
Yeah.
How annoying that was.
But it's not even like Ellie in Last of Us doesn't really do much other than just kind of draw the story along. But yeah, with Elizabeth in BioShock Infinite, she's throwing you weapons, she's throwing you ammo, stuff like that. So I liked the game. The ending was great.
Yeah, that was mind blowing.
I think they should have probably stopped Infinite without doing the DLCs though, because I felt like some of the DLCs that they did kind of pushed it a little bit further than it needed to go to tie kind of like everything in. But it's really good, John, and I don't want to spoil it for you. But
I like to look at the DLCs as being a non-canon way to have a good time because they're really cool.
They're good, and like I said, they're awesome in the sense of like how they wrap everything together. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like they could have just left the ending at Infinite and just not done anything else and had a similar impact, if not a better impact.
That's true.
If they just didn't, if they left some mystery.
So don't play the DLC.
No, like, you can play it.
It's not bad.
It's like it's like Mario Odyssey. Like you get to a certain point where like I'm done.
It was just one of those things where I rushed through it, and I think I rushed through it because I played BioShock Infinite 3 times to get the platinum. So by the time the DLCs came out, I was kind of done with it already, but I wanted to experience it because I know what the DLCs were.
Well, with BioShock 1, I was starting to play it, but at that same time, I was playing catch-up. And at that time, I didn't have a lot of time. Well, I don't have time now, but I didn't have a lot of like I was just trying to stay relevant with everybody
Yeah.
because everyone was playing online. That's when we all could play online together.
But you being a horror fan, it kind of knocks on that door of like almost a survival horror. So I'm surprised that you actually never played it and finished.
I think, well, what I remember in the beginning of it, and I remember the trailers. You know, you have the whole like the girl on top of the giant freaking submarine. That dude, just exactly looking
Big
just
Daddy?
like that. Yeah, Big Daddy. Like I just feel like it was. Like my survival horror was still like
Mr. Bubbles.
Resident Evil style. I feel like this was so like triple A style that it was just like the horror wasn't there for me. The little bit that I played, but then again, like I said,
There's some screwed up people down in that city, John.
I believe
Splicers.
it,
Really screwed up people.
it was
Like
just,
he's not like a common mob enemy. He comes around and you fight him and he's tough. I don't think, can you kill him in the first one? I can't remember. Yeah.
It's an achievement.
Yeah. And a lot of the enemies you fight are like these mutant splicers, and they were kind of creepy.
And some
Technical.
people have like certain areas that are kind of like locked down, but they're like twisted like
Yeah.
doctors and stuff like that have just gone crazy.
yeah. I mean,
It's really
obviously,
atmospheric. It's amazing.
it's a game that everyone who's played it, it sticks with them, and they remember it being an awesome game. So it's
It's
just
the first game I played on my PS3
okay.
when I got the PS3.
Mine was obviously Metal Gear Solid 4. Like, that's why I bought the console.
Yeah.
Like, I was just dying to play that game.
And Bioshock came later to PS3. It was originally a 360
On
release,
360,
but then it
yeah.
came to PS3. And I got it that was part of the bundle that I got when I got my PS3, and Bioshock was one of the games I played. That
Yeah. Did
I
you
was
ever
like, oh
did
my
you ever get it
gosh.
on 360?
Bioshock?
I feel like I borrowed it from you.
Infinite?
I feel like no, the first and second one.
Chris or Cody might have had it.
Okay.
Chris or Cody, I think, had the
I
first
thought
one on 360.
I thought I was playing on 360. But anyway,
because Chris was a huge fan of it,
yeah,
and he was playing it for a long time.
he always mentioned that game, and that's something that I guess I'll add to my collection.
It's one of those games like
Do you think it
it's
lasts?
top 10 for me.
Do you think
It's definitely top 10
Do you
for me.
think because going back to certain games,
Yeah,
a lot of times when you finally get to play it,
yeah,
it's so many have come after it.
yeah. It holds up.
It holds up
Yeah,
well.
it's just like one of those things because like there's still certain elements that I kind of look at, even from like a Far Cry standpoint. Like when you're picking up like money or something like that, like I automatically go back to Bioshock.
Oh yeah.
Like just the sounds, like there's certain sounds that you are actually occur when you're picking up weapons or ammo or eating something. Like that element of gameplay, my brain immediately goes back to Bioshock.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things that like I really really enjoy the game. The mechanics and everything of it are great. The atmosphere is fantastic.
Yeah. I'll have to do it. I remember like the one scene where you go underwater and you're just like sinking down.
Yeah. Play it with the lights off.
Enjoy it,
go
yeah.
full board. Just enjoy it.
Because I mean, like games that get me excited, like for horror was like for instance Resident Evil 7. Like
Yeah.
I played that in like a weekend, man. I was like you said, lights off. Like I was
Yeah.
invested in this adventure, and I'm like,
Yeah.
So I don't know if it.
And just
I
like
don't know.
there's certain things too that like was a little bit ahead of its time when it first came out, in the sense of like when you had enemies like in the water, you had the electric ability, you would be able to zap all of them. You know what I mean? Like so, it's just
Yeah.
like there's a lot that a lot of firsts for the game, and I just really enjoyed it, even from a narrative perspective, about like how the story goes and how there's twists.
Yeah.
Was just really well done.
Yeah, that's for me. Like if I'm engaged in it, then it'll pull me into the end.
With that being said, I don't know where they go with the next Bioshock game.
We've done in the sky. We've done underwater.
Well, Infinite was
But-
the sky, right?
but-
In the crust. Earth's crust.
The moon.
Nomad,
Go to the moon.
Underground peoples.
Bioshock.
We're the moment.
Bioshock in space.
Um,
That's what, if this would be the fourth game, right?
yeah, it would be the fourth.
If they follow the '80s style of movies or the '90s style movies, where the fourth movie came, they always send them to space.
Yeah, but I feel like space has been done so much. Like,
Leprechaun in space.
I kind of wouldn't be surprised if they actually went back to Rapture, just because thematically, it's just one of. It's like I said, I can't name another game that is in an underwater 1950s, 1940s city that is so unique. And that's like one of the things about the game that is just so impressive to me, is that they planned on making that game around this underwater like utopian type world, and not to take it away from Infinite, because Infinite was very interesting because it was up in the sky. It was even further back than what Rapture was, but like the feeling of dread that you have because of how dark and kind of ominous the entire world is a Rapture, I feel like it's like a perfect video game setting.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're going to do with it. If they go to like somewhere like Egypt, I'm just going to be like, no, stop.
Assassin's Creed crossover game.
Because and that's the thing too. Like the ocean, it's like one of those ideas that like it's we have barely even really understood or discovered a lot of what's going on in the ocean. So this idea of a city under the water is just very appealing to me.
Yeah. Did you see the new trailer for Meg? The Meg?
Oh, the Megalodon game
from Family Guy?
No.
Meg.
Yeah,
it's a Megalodon movie.
It's
like a giant shark.
They're like, what is it, like an underwater
who's
lab?
in it? There was an actor in it that I was surprised that they were in it.
Jason Statham.
Oh yeah, why is Jason Statham doing that?
Because he's a scientist at heart.
Because that's what he does in between Expendables.
Is he going to kick the shark in the nose? Is that going to be his
Probably.
big moment? He's going to roundhouse kick the shark in the nose?
That'd be great.
It ties in with the one somehow. But anyway, I was just saying, like...
I would see a 1 sequel. I would see that. Put Donnie Yen in it.
The 2. But you were talking about
The 1, 2.
unexplored
The 1
oceans.
evolution. Or the 1 forever.
No, it's going to be the 1, 2.
The 1 again.
Colon.
The 1, 2, 3, 4.
The 1, 2.
The old 1, 2. Alright. So we talked about PUBG on that. Let's talk PS5.
There it is.
Because it's obviously not announced or anything like that, but it's just... News have been coming out lately about speculating when it was going to come out, what's it going to do.
Unconfirmed news.
Unconfirmed, of
AKA
course.
rumors.
This is all speculation.
I mean, no one's ready to confirm anything.
I'm confirmed.
It's like, it's not even really like news. It's like, oh, well, it's going to be more powerful. Yeah. Great.
You think?
Yeah. But I think the biggest thing to kind of talk about here is that, all right, so if you're going to look at PS5, and I feel like we've talked about this before, they're clearly not going to go the route of the Switch. Like, I don't think that's going to happen in PS5. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
It's going to be in a watch, a wrist strap.
So, like, with the controller, the touchpad, do you think that's going away?
I don't...
Because it's just pretty much a big pause button.
Yeah, I mean, do we...
Map button.
What do we use that for? There was a game we used it for.
Killzone did... The only thing interesting I saw
the
Killzone
early
do
games.
it.
The early games
Killzone did it where it was almost like an additional D-pad. So your drone would have different abilities, and if you swiped up, down, left, or right, you would actually have like an additional D-pad to do that with. So it made the ability to map extra stuff interesting, which I thought was fine. If I would have gotten that, that would have been fine. But then it's like, all right, well, then just add another D-pad or more buttons. So...
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. That's this giant start button.
And then things like Assassin's Creed 4, you can actually use it as like a touchscreen and like go to the map and actually set waypoints and zoom in and out. So
we know they'll never change the button layout. Obviously,
not at this point.
They're always that style is, I think, known for PlayStation. So I think they'll keep that.
Yeah.
It's. I mean,
I think. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think they'll add like the paddles maybe, like the
like
elite controllers.
Okay.
I just think that from like a professional gaming perspective, like I feel like.
You mean on those standard controllers they'll add that?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what else they'll add. Like I don't know. I don't. When they come out with the next PS5 controller, it's like, oh well, we added, Yeah.
Well, I mean,
a motion sensor.
PlayStation 1 started with obviously no DualShock, no analog sticks, just a regular, and then they had the analog edition, DualShock, edition, which gave you the rumble and the dual sticks, or dual sticks, right?
DualShock, 6-axis.
Well, that was 3.
Yeah.
PlayStation 2 followed with the DualShock 2, which was basically the DualShock 1, just better rumble. Then 3 came out, which had no rumble at first. It was just wireless. That was the biggest thing. And then, the 6-axis, which you can tilt and all that nonsense. But then they realized people wanted that, which I think they were going to add, but I think they wanted to try to get their system out because, I mean, they were already a year behind Xbox. They didn't want to prolong it anymore. So then they finally released the DualShock 3, which gave you the rumble again, and then with the 6-axis, which, again, you barely used.
Yeah.
And then the DualShock 4, which was they gave you that pad that you're talking about,
and they have like the motion sensor, light and everything.
But the rumble's a lot less, I think. Right?
Yeah, I think if anything, like I could see them definitely doing is kind of taking a play from the Xbox book and have the dual. The vibration?
Yeah.
I don't even know what the word is. Help me.
So help me.
Because like
You
an
can
Xbox,
toggle it on and off, or
well, no, you have tool dual shock systems. Like
Right.
you have like it's different in the Xbox controller where it's in
Right, so the
each side of the
triggers.
handle or in the triggers. Like I could see them doing something along those lines.
Yeah.
Um,
That'd be neat if it's all mapped out specifically, like kind of like you were just saying. Like when you shoot, it's only in that one spot. When you're moving, if you bump into something behind you, like the palms rumble or something like that,
Yeah.
kind of give you like a 3D sort of feel or 360 kind of.
yeah, they're gonna have to increase the battery life because a lot of people aren't happy with the battery life for the wireless.
It's it's not that terrible, but yeah, it would be nice. I mean, you're usually the problem that I say is include a longer charge cable because the charge cable's that long.
Well, it depends on what they're going to do. I mean, the thing is that if it's going to be cost effective for them to do a smaller wire, then they're going to do a smaller wire.
They might have a wireless charge.
That'd be cool. If they could build in a wireless charger where you put it on top of the
Yep.
console, that'd be pretty
Just let
sick.
it just boop.
That'd be nice. That'd be awesome. That'd be something to show.
Yeah.
The console itself, I think that they need to give you, if they're going to keep it to where you can only use their PlayStation cameras, they need to do it a 1080 4K camera
Yeah.
that you can buy either it comes with it or you buy it separately
well,
I'm sure
for
they'll-
streaming.
I feel like the camera was made exclusive because they're pushing the camera as a set with the PS4 early on. They wanted that to catch on, but it didn't.
Yeah.
So I
Those
feel
are
like they're
limited.
gonna take away the limitation.
They were trying to do the
PS5.
move still with it.
Yeah.
Well, they were big on the whole sharing thing. That's why they added the share button, so you can go and actually stream on Twitch, upload to YouTube, this, that, the other thing. But the camera is the only thing I feel like is being held behind.
Yeah.
And I feel like they need more tools when it comes to content creation. And
I'm
being
su-
able to share.
I think they're gonna expand the share feature.
They're going to have to.
Yeah. I'm sure they're like a big thing for the next console systems would be a lot
Yeah.
with the sharing and
Like
the
you should be able to
streaming.
do, like if you have like a green screen or anything like that, like you should be able to, in your settings, be able to toggle it off, like take the green screen out.
Mhm.
Like have that sitting at least to make it more of in line with what the professionals are doing.
Yeah.
And be able to, maybe move or swap your chat to like another screen on your laptop or something like that. Like just different features that make it a little bit more in line with the fact that you don't have to go and buy like an expensive PC to go and look like professional streamers.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing too. Is the you always have the PC. A lot of people are streaming on that because you have the graphics cards. They're just excellent. And now it's all about who's got the best hardware, what's the nicest looking stream, so you can jump on there. So it'd be interesting to see how they tackle that if that's the route they're gonna go. Because I mean, it is PlayStation. They're doing fantastic this generation.
Yeah.
So they might. That's the problem. Like Xbox 360 did amazing. So when Xbox One first came out, they kind of relaxed and like, we got this. They're just going to do it because of the brand. Sony, on the other hand, kind of just like jumped in there with all these games and everything like that, and the way it was built, and the way that their marketing and people were jumping ship from Xbox, and then now Xbox is playing catch up. Catch up, I said. So it depends on Sony's look on everything because Xbox, Microsoft is doing a lot of game services that are excellent. PlayStation, they're kind of just riding the wave of, hey, we know we got this. We got our exclusives. They're fantastic. We know what we're doing with the games. I don't know how crazy of an update it's going to be. For instance, one rumor is it's not going to be able to play PlayStation or PlayStation 5 games. It's not going to be like a cross-platform.
Cross-platform.
Well, they're saying that it's likely that the PS4 games are going to be able to play on the PS5, but the PS5 games won't play on the PS4.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, there would obviously be PS4 games, but I don't know if they'll be able to play PS4 games on a PS5 because, like they keep saying, backwards compatibility. They're just like, you get this generation.
No one
that's
wants
it.
to
You
play
get this-
that stuff. Come on.
But I mean, in reality, like I said, I mean, I don't know. Like I feel like they're still going to keep adapting on the PlayStation Now format, and the backwards compatibility is going to be through that for the most part. I don't know if they're ever going to be like, hey, put this disc in and here you go. Xbox, I think, will keep cross-platform compatibility. So I think like even when the next Xbox comes out, you'll still be able to play. You might still be able to potentially play Xbox 2 games on Xbox One Slim, potentially, at a lower setting. But I think that that's kind of the business model that they're kind of obtaining, and that's what they're kind of looking forward to doing, is just keeping cross compatibility with everything that they currently offer.
Yeah, I mean that's a great strategy. For instance, like when they release games like Sea of Thieves that they were promoting, and then it doesn't do well, and then it's like, well, at least we got game services, so keeps you coming back for something.
I feel like with their expansion on game services, they're setting up their base for the next Xbox. So it's going to relaunch. It's going to be an extremely useful, very user-friendly system, and you're going to want to use it. You're going to want it to succeed because it's the best thing to play on.
Like I said with Xbox, they've already allowed for like third-party cameras to be used. I'm really surprised they haven't set up like third-party mics to be used to pretty much make it more in line with like a PC, keyboards, so on and so forth. They'll probably get there. At the end of the day, though, I can see a world where I don't ever play Sea of Thieves. Right now, I don't think there's any kind of world where I don't play God of War. Yeah, you know, like it's just like it always comes back down to the games that they're offering. Yeah, and I don't think that they can keep relying on Gears of War or Halo.
Well, I mean, God of War just got the early reviews are tens.
Crazy.
Now, now question for you: what happens if Sea of Thieves got a 10? Would that pique your interest?
I don't know. Based on the game it is, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But like even looking at the games like State of Decay, might come out and be like, you know, game busters. But I'm not a big zombie games person. So, right. But then again, I play Last of Us, which is kind of a zombie game. But it really comes down to the quality of the game, like what Santa Monica's doing, what Naughty Dog's doing, what potentially Sucker Punch is doing with Ghost of Tsushima. There is a higher bar now set for Sony Studios, and it seems like most of the Sony Studios are now hitting that bar. Mm-hmm. And they're sharing the knowledge that they've learned from other previous games, and it's becoming something where it's the expectation is almost as high of a quality as what Nintendo's doing now. Because they've had a core set of studios that have been working and developing games for a long period of time now, and now Sony's slowly giving each of them, all right, go and try something new, and then you get Horizon Zero Dawn instead of another Killzone game. All right, go and try something new, Naughty Dog. All right, you get Last of Us. Go and try something new, Sucker Punch. Okay, now you have Ghost of Tsushima. Like they're starting to become a lot more comfortable, and they're really starting to have like this seal of approval when it comes to high quality games. Yeah. And with Xbox kind of fumbling to try and find certain studios that they keep and aren't just going to be the Gears of War studio or the Halo studio, it's hard to see what they're going to actually come out with. That's going to be like, I need to play that game.
Yeah.
I don't even know if there's anything like announced right now that I'm excited for Xbox.
Like, you know, you're gonna get a Halo game. There's talks about a Perfect Dark. I mean, it depends on what Perfect Dark looks like. They really need to stop. They have to get away from this like animated, like Pixar-y type art style though too. Because Crackdown's the same, Sea of Thieves is the same. Sea of Decay is a zombie game, so that's.
I don't have a problem with the Sea of Thieves art style because I like the stylized art style of some games, but it's just an empty game without anything to do.
Yeah, I think they like having that art style. I think should have enabled them to do more. Like
be more creative with your.
You can process more with that kind of an art style.
Yeah,
that's the reason why Fortnite can do what they do over what PUBG does because they're looking for realistic textures.
Right. Because that's what surprised me about Sea of Thieves is when you fight the Kraken. The videos I've seen is, and spoiler alert, but it's just tentacles. Apparently, there's nothing underwater, and like when we played that game we streamed, but anyway, we're on the boat.
That game we streamed.
The boat. We're on the boat. It's Dishonored 2.
Okay.
When we're on the boat and then you jump in the water and there's like things to do underwater.
Yeah.
Like that's what I thought Sea of Thieves would be like. This open world, like really cool looking, do stuff. It's not, but apparently it's literally just a ship on ship battle game. Even though they don't want it to be.
There's stuff under sea that you can go and you can collect chests and stuff like that, but. It's vacant, and it probably in all realistic expectations probably shouldn't have been released when it did. I know they had to get it out there, I'm sure at some point because they probably had to start making money, but it's just I don't know. I'm waiting for don't get me wrong, like Quantum Break I enjoyed. I played Quantum Break, and that was a good game. I enjoyed it. It was something different. Yeah. But it's like after that happens, they don't make the sales figures, and now Remedy's working on like a multi-platform thing. So
yeah,
I don't know. But it's hard for me. like unless you're gonna go and buy quality studios, I just don't know what they're gonna do.
Well, I mean, you got games for Sony like Detroit, that game Detroit.
Yeah, and they don't own that studio.
No.
Like they're just making a PlayStation 5 game.
But that they said that they can't even count how many endings or different ways you can play that game. Like that just to me that's very intriguing.
Yeah.
And that's just to me that just makes me want to play that game.
I think what's happening too is that Microsoft is so worried about adding to their online service, like adding Xbox Live features and all that other stuff, is that they can't. They're worried about that element of it and keeping the core players to keep coming back. They probably, from a business decision, and it's probably in the end the right decision, they don't want to spend and invest in enough of a game where you play through it once and you're done with it. Which is what God of War is, which is what Uncharted 4 potentially is, because a lot of people don't play the multiplayer game. But at the end of the day, those games that they dedicate large stories to, character development to, those are the ones that are getting the amazing ratings, and it's a thoughtful, complete idea that you're getting. But again,
you look at Game of the Year. It was Zelda.
Or you look at Game of the Year.
It wasn't.
Wasn't PUBG.
PUBG, which sold
well, no, don't get me wrong. There were some people that actually, there were some media outlets that did pick PUBG as their Game of the Year.
Yeah, based off of numbers.
Zelda was very popular.
Yeah, and that's its own. It's not. You know, it's story driven.
There's no multiplayer.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Same with Mario. Mario was a contender, and there's only a single player in that too. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is from like PS5. I just think that the controller is going to have to be revamped a little bit. The system itself is probably going to have some more features in regards to sharing, whether it be through Twitch, whether it be through YouTube.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I think that Twitch, if they can get in a partnership with Twitch, in the sense of that you can have like the sub buttons and all the little graphics that people have that make it look like a very professional stream, that's going to go a long way, I think.
You know what would be interesting? If they hold out just long enough to where they actually have like flexi screen, so you can open up your controller.
Oh yeah,
and then you have a touchpad for all that stuff right there.
No way. I mean, that would be something nice if they could figure out how to, do the keyboard easier, whether it be with your phone.
Yeah.
Because that app doesn't work as good as it probably should.
I never used
when
it.
When it comes to controlling it, like you can't really go into the apps and use the actual app controller type thing.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing where it's not going to be, and it's funny because we know it's not going to be like the PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 4 Pro or the Xbox to the Xbox Scorpio. It's going to be, or Xbox One X, whatever it's called. But it's going to be a literally like PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5. So it's going to be very interesting if it's just going to be graphical upgrades or like you said, it's going to be feature upgrades based. Built into the system itself.
You're going to get the whole spectrum, I think. And I think that it is going to be the PS5, and it's going to be a kickoff of, like, hey, this is our new console, because they've seen what they've been able to do with PS4. I would think of PS4 Pro as probably a hiccup, but they still are giving people some of what they want. I still foresee, like, they do PS5, and they will do, like, a PS5 Pro. So I'm curious if they're going to really adapt anything. And other than like share features, stream features, and then revamping the controller a little bit and making it a little bit more powerful, I don't see them coming out and making like a Switch. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be very in line with what we have now, which is some minor tweaks. What do you think, Jonah?
I think the PlayStation 5 is going to be dope. I don't know anything about any of the system specs.
Jonah, we're counting on you.
It's going to have Sly Cooper launch title, and that's all I want.
Oh. PS5 needs to be able to do 60 frames a second, 4K, all the time.
They promise...
No. 30 frames and a lower pixel count. They need 60 frames, minimum. 4K minimum on everything.
Yeah,
they need to give me that.
They started selling their Xbox Ones and PS4s with that promise of 60 frames, 1080p. This needs to actually happen now.
This needs to happen.
Yeah, they promised a while ago.
Yeah,
I don't see why they wouldn't be able to. Now that would actually compete with that. That'll turn some PC heads.
Yeah, I mean you could still get like 4K, graphics with higher frame rates on PC, but at a bare minimum, their minimum starting point should really be 60 at 4K.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm just saying because on the PlayStation or PC, that's people go to PC because they have those specs.
Yeah.
Because they can stream it, that no problem.
Yep.
You get a system out there, minimum 60 frames all the time.
But now you're gonna have a 60 frames per second PlayStation system with PlayStation exclusive games, and I think that's gonna bring some people back from PlayStation. From PC.
PlayStation to PlayStation. I was in PlayStation, but now I'm in PlayStation.
I hope they keep the user interface simple like they have on PS4.
Yeah.
Well,
I still like looking at Xbox user interface. I'm still like,
Well, that's the thing. Like I remember,
it's more Windows
like
now.
360. The original user face for that, and what they updated it was fine. It was clean. It was great. I was my first time booting up an Xbox One. I thought like I was about to get into like the most amazing, crisp, clean menu system ever, and then I'm sitting there like, why am I? What am I doing with these paddles? Like I got sub menus to menus, like Xbox 360. You hit that X button, like everything's there, like this. Like I don't know. It's just, you know.
They tried to integrate it with their Windows 10 stuff, and they just brought that interface over, I guess.
Get away from Windows. Obviously it's Microsoft, but still, get away from Windows.
I'm halfway believing that the next Xbox will be called Xbox 720. And they'll move away from the Xbox One brand completely, and just be like, this is the actual sequel to the 360.
The last 5 years were a lie.
Xbox Windows. Where all your dreams come true.
The Xbox
Windows 95.
Or they call it Xbox 1080 and they put a 1080 Ti in there. that would turn some heads.
You know what's so funny though? By the time that system comes out, the 1080 Ti would be
but I'm
obsolete.
saying, but 1080 Ti is pretty much what you need for
an affordable
like
1080
PC graphics, like 4K.
It's like
VR ready
graphics card, right?
Yeah, it's high.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm saying like that would be like people would know, like gamers would know when they hear that, oh, there's a 1080 Ti and that's why we call it the Xbox 1080. Then gamers would be, oh my god.
Well, say I thought the PlayStation 4 would be called a PlayStation 4D because it'll have the features that make it 4D.
You stop that.
But that was 10 years ago when I didn't know anything about science.
It's the scratch and sniff.
Wait,
you have to input the cards. Pre-order bonus. Pre-order and get the scratch sniff card for your controller.
Collect them all.
What was I going to say with the Xbox? It's just going to be called the Xbox Original. That's where they're going to go. Like
the Xbox One too.
The minds behind calling it Xbox One was the dumbest thing.
I mean, I get it. I just don't like it.
It's everything in one. It's your whole one.
Call of Duty sports. Call of Duty sports. Cable TV. Sports. Call of Duty. You ever see that montage?
No.
Oh, it was so good. It was about how many times I said Call of Duty, sports, and like TV
during the reveal.
During the reveal,
it was subliminal messaging.
Yeah.
Call of Duty, sports, Xbox.
It was funny because they lost like the Call of Duty marketing rights like 2 years later too. It was like Ghost, Xbox One, Advanced Warfare, marketing rights, Xbox One, and then it just became PlayStation after that.
Well, the Xbox brand, looking at Xbox 360, was everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, you see a commercial. Everywhere was an Xbox 360. Now it's just Xbox. It's just, I don't know. I mean...
Could be.
But then again, like, you gotta update it, the box, eventually, because...
Now with their patented new technology, the Xbox Next Box.
Xbox?
Yeah,
Xbox,
there's no downloading involved.
Xbox, Xbox. It rhymes.
It rhymes.
Not only is it fun to play, it's fun to say.
What do you think the price is going to be of the next PS5?
The next PS5? Well, let's talk about the first PS5.
I mean, the next PlayStation.
They probably try to keep it in line with what PS4 was.
I think if they knock it at 400, it'd be very, very good for them.
And I think that's what we talked about it before, but I think that's like a big...
It's a sweet spot.
The sweet spot is that, but I think a lot of the times, this is why we have generations that last longer now, is because...
The components get cheaper.
They got to wait for the components to get cheap enough to be able to sell it at that price.
Yeah. I think if Xbox decides to have a new console, what it's going to be is they're going to release two versions, and one's going to be the Xbox One X version, the high premium one. And that's going to be too expensive to sell at a $400 price. Okay. And then they're going to have the one for the plebs. Yeah.
Could be. I mean, then again, if that's the way the market's pushing for, then that's what they're going to do. But
like an iPhone 8, iPhone X thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's, those that want the Platinum Edition will go for the Platinum Edition, but It kind of sucks because it alienates the players. Then again, you're going to have a PlayStation 5 that might not be 60 frames a second all the time versus 60. So when you play together, what's going to happen?
Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. At bar none, they have to have 60 frames of 4K. The frame rate is the biggest thing for me because on multiplayer games, the reason why some of these games aren't running at 60 frames is because they still are playing with the same old consoles.
Yeah.
So there was no point if you wanted to get a higher performance and frame rate. There was no point of getting a PS4 Pro or a PS4 because you're still playing at a lower frame rate because the older consoles can only handle that lower frame rate and they don't want to have a disadvantage.
Yeah. See, my understanding of how, like going back, how games evolved, it wasn't about how perfect they look.
Okay.
You know, like more realistic. It was how much you can do in the game, like what the game does, like how it performs, like we're saying 60 frames a second, more destructibility, you know, like you can do more in a game versus just, oh, it's still linear, you can only stick to this path, but now it looks great, now you have HDR features, now it's just, you feel like you're there. It's like, to me, it shouldn't be all about that. Like Sea of Thieves 2018, that game should be loaded with a million things to do before release. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that's the type of thing that I think of when new generations come out. I don't care that it's going to look realistic, because at what point does it get so realistic to the point where it's like, I feel like I'm actually shooting at a real person. You know what I mean?
Oh, we'll get there.
So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather have, like, if I want to go there, I'm going to go there. Like, more... like PUBG, I guess, like open world. I guess they're getting to that point where more games are more open world, but to the point where if I want to bust through that wall, I'm going to bust through that wall somehow.
You bust through that wall.
Bust through that. Don't be shy. You go right ahead. But I mean, like, you know, like a Battlefront or Battlefield sort of thing. But I don't know. If does that make any sense? Like, it
makes sense.
Add more to a game than...
Yeah, with the destructibility, it comes down to, if you're going to add destructibility, though, you need stuff processing in the background, so that could hurt frame rate anyway.
But that's the thing, though. Like, at this stage in the game, make it PUBG graphics, but enable me to do such things.
Yeah.
And...
Well, that's what Battlefield is.
Yeah, well, 60 frames a second, too.
Yeah.
But Battlefield, you know, has really nice graphics, too.
Yeah.
Like, realistic and stuff like that. Which is also great. It looks nice, fantastic, but at the same time, don't make it look nice and take things away from me. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
But...
I concur.
Anyway, guys.
Do you concur?
I concur.
Okay.
Any final thoughts on the supposed PS5?
I don't think it's coming out 2018, so you guys are all crazy.
Yeah.
2019 still unrealistic. I don't think we see it until 2020.
PS4 is still selling really well.
That's what I'm saying. There's no reason to release it.
Yeah, it's just ending their...
And Xbox played their hand already, and they're still selling.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they have God of War coming out.
Yeah, they do.
We're waiting on...
Spider-Man's going to move consoles.
It's going to move consoles. Yeah, I mean... How, you know, we you were talking about it earlier before of how they kind of, you know, they announce consoles, and then they have their pre-E3 event about it, or their E3 event about it, and then they release it like December, something like that, or the following spring. So earliest is definitely 2019. Yeah. Just to kind of get everyone ready for it. Could be a possibility. Just based on what's releasing now, like if they give, what's that game coming out?
Dragon Quest XI?
Uncharted. Yeah. Yes, of course. But they got God of War, and then
Detroit, Become Human.
Detroit. Then they have
Spider-Man,
and then they still have to announce this.
Horizon 2.
No, you just said it. The zombie game.
Days Gone.
No,
Last of Us 2.
Last of Us 2. Sorry, I forgot that. I love that first game. A lot of stuff going on in the brain. Yeah, Last of Us 2. If they give a release date to sometime in this year, at the end of the year, I think PlayStation 5 would be possible, because that's pretty much...
That's their victory lap?
That's pretty much... Yeah, that's their victory lap. You know what I'm saying?
It could be.
But 2020, more likely.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, they could potentially get... I could see Last of Us coming out 2019... And then 2020, a new system comes out, and then you have Death Stranding and Ghost of Tsushima releasing in that window. I mean, if you can launch with a Kojima game, like, did Metal Gear Solid 4 come out around the same launch of the PS3, or was that later?
I don't think that was launched at PS3.
No, because I would have bought that, No, PS3 came out, and then Metal Gear Solid came out after the release. What was big with PS3, I think, was Mag. And
I remember Mag.
Resistance.
That was crazy.
Resistance Fall
Hated
Man.
it.
Resistance was really good. I liked the new Resistance. I would like a new Resistance game. Insomniac doesn't have to do it, but I would like a new Resistance.
Just throwing that out there.
Insomniac always made 2 more Spider-Man games.
Mm-hmm.
After they're done with this one.
But anyway, yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
Horizon Zero Dawn 2, or Horizon whatever they're going to call it, whatever.
Horizon 1 Dawn.
Yeah, 1 Dawn.
Sure. I'm sure that will be a PS5 game.
You think so?
Yeah.
But then again, it depends on what they do. But yeah, I mean, PlayStation 4, it's been out 2012, right?
2013.
2012 was announced. 2013 it released.
No, 2013 was the entire span. Because it was February 2013, E3 2013, and then Holiday 2013.
You're correct.
And
I trust you.
2014 Destiny came out in September. Changed my life forever. And disappointed me 3 years later.
That's what happens with your destiny sometimes.
It's all right. I did not become legend.
So we got a 5-year right now. We're working on the 5-year.
And we anticipate it'll be 7 years before the PS5.
The only reason we went 10 years was because of the recession.
Yeah.
So I think 7 years, around the 7-year mark.
Well, you gotta know too, like the actual life for that console goes on beyond the next occurrence.
Yeah.
Like PlayStation 2 didn't stop. Their last game was
FIFA something.
Like a sports game.
It's probably FIFA.
And that was what, 2000?
I don't even know, but it's probably FIFA.
It was actually not that long ago. I saw that article like a couple years ago for FIFA on PS2.
But they put that in that the lifespan too. So it always goes on.
So they'll still make money off of it, but yeah, they'll I think we're at 2018 now, 2020, 7 years.
You would think? Do you think if nothing's announced by 2020, do you think would you get worried or? I'd be very, if it's not 2019, it's 2020. Like I don't think it goes beyond 2020. Yeah. I think the 7 years is what they'll look at. Now, are you expecting what? Would you be welcome to instead of PlayStation 5, they're like, oh hey, the PlayStation 4 Elite or something like that? That would just be beating a dead bush.
Because I don't think they
dead horse.
Beating a dead bush.
Oh, okay.
Keep that dead bush.
But I don't think the Pro was marketed properly. I don't think that the game plan for the Pro was necessarily there. So I don't think they could do a third PS4.
It would fail
miserably.
Pro X97.
It's just like Sega. You get the 32X. You just got to buy this adapter, put that on there.
just gotta keep connecting
the next
things.
thing you'll get is a PS5. Their game plan for this generation worked. I don't see why they need to change it. At the end of the day,
I mean, like I said, like we mentioned earlier, Sony's doing really nice things. They're doing well.
Not necessarily
TVs.
nice things. They're just making a lot of money.
Well,
so
TVs.
Yeah, so they've
TVs are nice.
They've taken their entire business model and kind of narrowed it down a little bit.
Yeah.
So they sold off their PC market. They sold off I think most of the stuff that they did with cell phones. So like you were saying, like cameras, they're doing really well. The TVs are doing really well. The gaming is huge right now. The PS4 might have been the single-handedly one of the biggest things that probably saved Sony from bankruptcy or becoming not a thing, not a business, because their movie business does well but doesn't do great. So it's just one of those things. I think that they have a lot that they owe the PlayStation brand, the video gaming brand, and I think that they're going to continue with the business that they know that works.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they're going to make the same kind of a splash that they did when PS4 came out, because Xbox came out, announced their stuff, fell apart. PS4 comes out, hey, you can do pre-owned games, you can use a disc, you can share it, $4.99 or $3.99, $100 cheaper than Xbox One. Bam, mic drop.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to.
They got to change
that kind of, because when that happened, that was what all the media was talking about, just like the kick to the gut to Xbox, and that's what kind of formulated all of Xbox to go back to the drawing board. Right, well, now we have to allow pre-owned games. Now we have to not do data right management and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how they're going to do it, but I mean, the thing is though, they have had enough of a fan base to come to PlayStation 5 and be like, hey, there's some fantastic games here. I'm not going to go anywhere.
Well, what they do need is a Phil Spencer-like personality on their end, because the guy that's presenting now sucks.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sean Layden.
he's going to come out and be like, you like games? PlayStation 5, why not?
We have games.
Why not? That's just, why? It's for,
Well, like,
for
we
you.
thought it was going to be Shuhei Yoshida, but they kind of pulled him, like, behind the curtain, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
I don't know either.
Yeah,
It was just like, hey, we made enough money, you need to come back and stop doing podcasts. Like, it was weird.
I don't know.
maybe he started saying things that he wasn't supposed to say yet.
Maybe. Possibly. But he was, like, I've listened to his interviews. He's pretty spot on. Like, he doesn't usually give stuff up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Unless it was on another podcast that I don't listen to, which is potentially it.
There was also the other, I forget his name. Do they call him the Kaz? Or the Kaz? Kazuhiro or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's the president or
He's
something.
gone now, isn't he? Or no?
No, he's still there.
There was somebody else that left. Andrew House left.
Yeah, and he usually I saw him during the events, but he should be a more integral part of like being the face of the company.
Yeah, I mean,
he was good to watch.
I'd be fine with just Kevin Butler coming back and being a fake face of the company.
Didn't PlayStation
Suspension is off.
Didn't
Come
PlayStation
back.
sue him?
They sued Bridgestone Tire
Right.
because his persona in that commercial, because all he is an actor.
Yeah.
His persona in that commercial was too close to Kevin Butler.
Gotcha.
So he couldn't do, like, I think there was, like, he couldn't do video game stuff for, like, 5 years or something like that.
He was like big for PlayStation 3, right?
Yeah, fantastic. He was
Kevin Butler.
I'm a sucker for marketing, all right? So if you have funny marketing stuff going on, I'm probably going to buy your stuff. like those commercials were fantastic. I love, like, it was just, like, it was just so good. I can't even explain it.
Go
like the
Google him
montage
if you don't know.
commercial, the family commercial, they're playing Little Big Planet, and, like, Kevin Butler's there, and he's because with those commercials, there was always a customer calling in a PlayStation, and Kevin Butler was the persona or the VP of whatever the actual game was that he was talking about.
Right.
And the one was like the guy calls in, and he's like, I'm looking for a great family game or something along those lines. He's like, oh, we should try out Little Big Planet or Little Mon Nation Racer Kart or whatever the case may be. And like he's like, and here your family's actually enjoying it. And he's like so surprised that his wife is there. Kevin Butler's like right behind her, like over his shoulder, like rubbing her shoulders. Like it was just pure marketing genius, and I want it back, and I don't think I'm going to get it.
Yeah, so we need.
But I'm really happy
like
about it.
Yeah.
I love those commercials. Like when it was just like, and then like there was like some super like nerdy kind of a guy, persona character, and he was like sitting there. He's like, I saw the PlayStation 3 was like $300 or whatever. It was a price drop. He was like, so what do you got? And then Kevin Butler's, what do I got? 2 words, montage, and then there's just a montage of everything. Perfect marketing. It was so good, and I'm so upset that we lost it.
Yeah,
But they don't really need to market that kind of element anymore, I guess, that kind of persona or character, because it's
Can you
just
imagine
kicking
they
ass.
bring him back for the reveal of PS5?
Oh my god, I would lose my mind. That would be my E3 moment. like I would lose my mind.
Oh man,
It was so good. And there was like one commercial with Gran Turismo where he's like, he's walking through, he's putting on like a gyros glove, and he's like, he's like, you know about Gran Turismo? During the development, they were like, hey, you can't do realistic crash animations. Like, make it happen. It was like, you can't fit this many cars into the game. And I was like, make it happen. And then they told me that they want the test cars back, and he's in the car driving. He's like, and I said, and he just like
drives
backs
away.
up and drives off. Like,
Yeah.
It was just perfect marketing all around. I'm gonna watch. We should watch the freaking
Watch a stream every
montage
Kevin
of the
Butler commercial.
It was just so good. Like, I just appreciate good marketing.
Yeah.
Like, that's just like, it's just one of those things that like, if you have good marketing, you make me laugh, or I like really enjoy it. Like even with like Discover Card, with the Peggy commercials, you remember those where it's like American credit, and you call him up, and there's this old guy in like Russia. He's like, "Hi, my name Peggy."
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Those commercials are just pure genius, and I have a Discover Card now. If you're clever enough to make me laugh and like really enjoy your commercials, or go back and watch them a second time, then like, all right, the marketing people, like, I owe it to them.
you just
For thinking outside the box.
you just told them their secret.
That's fine. It's absolutely fine.
You're gonna come in next podcast with like 15 gadgets.
When Dan was over, our buddy Dan was over the other night, we were actually watching all of them. It was hilarious. It was like there was the one college coach, really famous. I can't remember his name. Sports fans are gonna kill me about it, but He's like, he calls up the guy and he's like, "Hi, my name's Peggy." And he's like, "I wanted to see what I can get if I get a check from my points." And he goes into the speech. He's like, 1 month. And then he's like, goes in the speech. He's like, "You gotta do better than that. You can do this. Just do it." And then the guy stands up. He's like, "You inspire me. 3 weeks." It's just pure marketing awesomeness, and I appreciate it. And that's what you have to do to sell me that stuff.
Well, there you go. They can do that with PS5.
They could.
They can.
We're totally off topic.
So, yes, that was a little off topic.
Sorry, but it's fine.
Part of the thing.
That went off the rail.
A little bit. But, yeah, PlayStation 5, I don't know, it's got to do something crazy. When it went from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4, obviously, for developers, they loved it. It was a lot easier. But for me personally, like it didn't feel like that huge.
Yeah.
I'm in the future now, gaming sort of thing. So it would be interesting to see if PlayStation 5 again. Like I said, there's expectations in your mind of what the next one's going to be, but then you realize it's just more. You get more RAM, it's better graphics card, and
PS5
that's all it is.
PS5 comes with regular controller and PlayStation VR.
That's the other thing we didn't talk about. Like, what do you think is going to happen with VR? I still think it's going to be a separate thing. I don't know if it's going to be coming in a box.
I mean,
I think if
they're invested, that's the thing.
I think if they really want to push the VR market, they're going to have to include the hardware in the box.
But then you run into a Connect problem. And then you're $500 up instead of $400, and now you have.
I don't know. Keep it at 400. I don't.
I mean, like
do it.
For me, it's irrelevant because I just don't see myself getting VR.
And that's why I don't.
Think I want to get VR.
And I don't think they should force it on anybody because there's the motion sickness element of it.
Yeah, I mean, like I do kind of want to experience some
space also.
horror games that way, just because that'll get me. But at the same time, I'm not invested in that because it's not. Like I said, there's the expectations of what you want something to be, and then you get what it is, and it's just goggles with, you're obviously it's VR, but it's not like Ready Player One where you're in the game, you're in the thing, you have a bodysuit on, you feel everything.
You're in the Matrix.
Yeah, exactly. It's just okay. To me, it's not there yet. It's still gimmicky, but. It is what it is. People might be interested in it, but then again, it's got to be the right price point. I
think it'll still be separate. I don't think there's.
It's definitely. I think it's definitely
because like you're looking at it was $400 for the PlayStation Move or PlayStation VR when it first came out. There's no way they're going to tack that price on and keep that at like $500.
Unless your controller has goggles on it, and you just strap it to your face.
No way, Jose.
But so yeah, VR I don't think is like you said. It's just going to be separate. They invested a lot in it, but they're going into another generation of consoles, so.
It just needs to be a lot more accessible if they want to make any money off the hardware. And if they stop making money, they're not going to push the limits of VR and make it into something that's actually interesting.
Yeah.
Because right now it's just tech demos and games that aren't really that interesting. Just
Superhot's really cool. I'd play Superhot.
Yeah, but you can play Superhot without VR.
You can play on PC.
Yeah.
But it's not the same.
Okay.
It's more the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
The Superhot is really cool. But if VR was more accessible, made more money, people would push the boundaries of what VR could do and make it into something that can only exist in VR and be something that has to be played on VR.
It has to be like a chair where you just sit down and you put it on, and then your body is just suspended.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like you need more components to make VR accessible to everybody. Components that are going to be too expensive for the average person to want to buy.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when I think of VR, I'm thinking, like, bodysuit, you're on a treadmill, like, when you run, you're actually running, and, like, you're exhausted, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're there.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
It's not just goggles, and you're like, wow, this is fantastic.
They could make the VR headset cheap, but the game's, like, $70 or something. I don't know. We need the headset
They can't make up the R&D cost by doing that, though.
No?
They'd have to make... Like the R&D, the research and development to try and make something like that, because eventually they're going to have to go wireless. They're not going to be able to always have those wires in the back of your head and people wanting
They'll
to
just
do
implant the chips in your head like Matrix.
That's like some deep
Put
stuff
that
there.
needle about that big right in your cranium. Whoop.
Nope.
There you go.
Nope.
You're playing Uncharted VR style.
I don't care what it is.
You are Nathan Drake.
Sounds like a good way to get electrocuted.
Yeah, what happens if there's a storm or something and you get a
outage.
Power surge? You get locked in there. You can't get out. Anywho, so I think we've mentioned everything there is to mention about PS5. I think that's it for gameplay, right? Or game news, I should say.
That's all the important news in the world.
So, what do you guys think? Should we end the podcast?
End it.
I like it.
Be gone.
I like
podcast.
All right. So, guys, this was episode 47 of our live podcast. We do these every other Tuesday, unless there's a catastrophe. Then we will postpone it to our earliest convenience. Not yours, because that would be the second later when it's late. Anywho, guys, final thoughts? Carmine, you all right? I think something's happening, but I'm not sure.
No, I'm good.
I think the energy drink's caught up with him.
I think so. Went straight to his cranium.
Got that tick, man. You know.
Anyway, so guys,
mind your business.
We do appreciate you joining,
Spider-Man.
watching, and or listening. If you're tuning into the audio-only version, which probably will be up around Thursday, so if you're listening to this, it is Thursday. And this will go up live. Well, if you didn't watch us live, it'll go up on our YouTube channel right away. So please watch this. Send it to your friends. Send it to your family. Anyone who would like enjoying games. And this guy.
That guy.
This is what happens when he has an energy drink. It catches up with him at the end of the show. Anyway, Jonah, throw some plugs out there.
Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, ding ding. I haven't practiced the plugs. Finger thing.
He just knows how to read it. That's all he knows how to do.
We have an Instagram. Do we still use that?
We have an Instagram. We do. I was posting on it a little bit, but Instagram's kind of we're not using it correctly.
Did you know Instagram is actually part of Facebook?
I did.
I didn't know that.
Sure it is.
They bought it.
Facebook owns Instagram.
I remember during that.
They're part of Big Brother.
During that deposition, they were giving him some shit about buying up his competition and being a monopoly.
Well, the thing is, they don't have a competition because like, they have little branches of competition.
We're getting off track.
This is a rant for after the podcast, which just kind of sum it up.
We should do a pre and post show.
We have a Facebook group.
We have a Facebook group
that I'm no longer looking at.
He's no longer looking at. He got rid of Facebook on all his devices.
It's still there.
He's scared.
I don't have it on my phone.
He thinks deleting it now will protect him.
It might.
It'll protect it from getting worse.
It's too late. The darkness is encroaching.
Gross negligence.
It's true.
Disgusting. Just gross.
Anywho, I'm John for Cblast Gamers.
I'm Jonah from Cartridge.
One more time?
No, I'm good.
What's your name?
Jonah.
From?
Cartridge. Yeah, you heard me.
Okay.
And bye.
How did this derail? We were doing so well.
I'm Carmine. See you later.
Guys, stay awesome. Be excellent to each other. We'll see you next time. Peace.